What's good, everybody? We are back for another video today, and today is the day we have been away on vacation for a fairly long period of time, but it was awesome. We headed out to the east coast of Canada, we picked some blueberries, we watched the first Canadian Premier League game that we have ever watched, and I have to say, it was very, very good. I really enjoyed it. I love the crowd at the Halifax Stadium, at the Wanderers Stadium. They were like super into it the whole time. The fan section was off the charts. I'm definitely excited to go and watch some Cavalry games in Calgary now. So we're definitely going to go head out and do that. So I'm excited for those to happen. We went on like a winery tour. We did some water skiing. We did a lot of boating. I have like some 3-second clips of all of those things. Maybe we'll put them together in some sort of vlog of stuff. But the big thing that we're here for today, I was like, the first video I want to do when I come back is a wish list for FIFA Mobile 20, and lo and behold, what do they drop today on Twitter? Well, first they dropped an article from last season telling you about device requirements, but then they updated it and they told us about the new season of FIFA Mobile 20, and there's some very big things in here. Firstly, the firstly thing, I like that word. I'm going to use that a lot more. Firstly. The firstly thing that they have talked about in this is that the new season launches in. Do you see that? Do you see that right there? Do you see that right there? No, I think, why does it look upside down? Let's zoom in. Zoom in closer. Zoom in closer. It's backwards, but it says September. The new season of FIFA Mobile 20 launches in September. And why is that so exciting? Well, one thing, and probably the thing that I am most excited about the fact that it launches in September, other than the fact that I wasn't a huge fan of FIFA Mobile 19, is that means that there's a very good possibility that we'll have, for the first time since Season 1, a Scream Team promo in FIFA Mobile. I absolutely loved it. In Season 1, if you played Season 1, I think it was actually in the soft launch of Season 1, they had the Scream Team promo, and in the Scream Team promo, basically, they had players, and they would boost up, they would enrage over different periods of time. Madden Mobile does this all the time. They make their players like giant, all these different things. I think there's just so many cool things that happen around that promo. So definitely excited for that, and excited that we get a start on it, you know, around the same time that console's gonna get it. So my guess, if I had to guess when in September it's gonna drop, is probably the end of September, given that we haven't heard anything about preseason yet. Probably could be up, maybe even by the time that we launch this video, we'll have some more information about the preseason. But very cool indeed to find out some of these things. So I thought I'd put together my wish list of things that I want to see in FIFA Mobile 20. It wasn't my favorite season of FIFA Mobile. I loved head-to-head. I loved all the graphic improvements. You know, there's a few decent promos and things like that, but it was Season 1 gameplay, well, not gameplay wise, Season 1 like event wise, promo wise, that was probably my favorite season. But Season 3 does have that added element of graphics, so I'm hoping that Season 4 takes some of those elements of Season 1 and just meshes them all together with Season 4 to make a masterpiece of a season. So the first thing that I feel like I really want to see in FIFA Mobile 20 is for them to add the ability to play a friend in head-to-head and maybe have some sort of competitive mode of FIFA Mobile. We ran our first head-to-head tournament. We will be finishing that up, showing you the winners of that tournament very shortly. But we had a lot of fun doing it. It was some of the most fun that I ever had playing head-to-head this season. So I'm hoping that they add some elements with this. If you want to bring back, maybe, you know, here's another thing. Maybe we can bring back the Game Changers program, and then we can help you run those FIFA Mobile tournaments. I'm right here. I'm right here, and I want to help. I promise I'll be nice. I promise I'll behave. I promise I'll behave. Here we go. I really do hope that we see a build on of that competitive element, because there's some amazing players in head-to-head and actually some really fun matches to watch when you get down to it in there. So that's one of the big things I'm hoping for. Is just some advancements in head-to-head, maybe some different ways to play head-to-head, all those different kind of things, you know, some more tournament structures, weekend tournaments that center around head-to-head, all of that. They do have the new device requirements that they need, so we'll pop that up on the screen so that you can see those and everything like that. But the other thing that I want, one of the other things I've really been hoping to see in FIFA Mobile for a long time, is draft. So FUT Draft, obviously it can't look the same as console. We don't have substitutions on FIFA Mobile, and while substitutions would be cool, you know what, if we don't have substitutions, it's not the thing that I'm like, oh man, I'm not playing FIFA Mobile because they don't have substitutions. So without substitutions, I still think we could do a cool FUT Draft though. And I was thinking, you know, I had this discussion on Discord with Cake, and he was saying, you know, because he's been pushing this as well, wanting to see a FUT Draft style in there. And so like there's two ways you can do it. You can do it like console, have your starting 11, do your bench, but there's not much point of the bench because you're not really going to use the bench. So what I was thinking, well, what if we ended up having it where you did, you know, like they do on Madden Mobile, or on Madden console, on Madden Mobile, where you have a rounds. You have like 15 rounds, 20 rounds, and you draft your team from there. So if you're in your first round, you could be, you know, come up and Aubameyang could come up as the striker. Like, oh, I want to pick up that Aubameyang card. And then the next round, you get another great striker. And the next round, Ronaldo comes up, and you're like, okay, I have like 5 strikers. I don't want a whole team of strikers. And then if you add in the element of chemistry being so important, you could end up getting yourself a team of like 5 strikers and have to put some of them out of position on defense because you picked so many strikers early on and no good defenders come up later that your chemistry is, you know, being affected by that. I just feel like it would be a cool way to do it on that sort of round system that you could do, because that way, if not every player is guaranteed to sort of be in that position, you know, you have to do a little bit of like thought process behind which players you're going to pick, which players you want to add in. You can have icon rounds, you can have prime icon rounds, all those things. So that's kind of what I want to see with there. The one thing I also, and I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I do want to hear your suggestions and all the things that you want to see in the comments below, because I've missed the season 1 style of players, and what I mean by that is I actually feel like I like the non-leveling structure better, and I'm going to talk about why. So first of all, if you haven't played season 1, in season 1 what they had is you weren't able to level up a player. The player was the overall that they had, but each player came with its own specific set of boosts. So you may get, you know, a Gareth Bale card was one of them, and you give a +1 overall to everybody on your team, and you can put them on the team and boost everybody up on the team. The team heroes would specifically boost their own teams. Certain promos would boost different promos in that card, but it kept it interesting throughout the whole season. I think that's the thing I really liked about it, is we'd be at the end of the season, we'd be preseason, and the preseason players would have these crazy boosts, and you'd be trying to get these new preseason players because those are the ones that you wanted to get. And it made every promo, instead of it sort of being like, okay, like I only want to get the prime icon. Like the promos right now, all I really care about getting are the prime icons, because all the other cards are useless because I've leveled up cards that are higher than those. I don't actually care about it, and I'm just looking for ranks and boosts, instead of trying to go before there. Whereas with the boost system, with the system of season 1, I was always after those new players. It also allowed me to check out new players that maybe I hadn't heard of, you know, from leagues that maybe I don't follow as often. I'm like, man, this player's super fun to play with on mobile, and then I go check them out in real life, and I'd watch, you know, them play in real life. I'm like, man, this is kind of fun to watch this league, and I get into new leagues that I maybe hadn't been into before. So I kind of like that part of it, and maybe we could meld it some way with the level. Maybe you could level it a little bit, or maybe you could encourage people to have differentiation on their team by just changing up how the boosts work. So if you had a player, you know, who was like your team captain or whatever, or if you had a whole team of Arsenal players, maybe they boosted each other more than if you had some non-Arsenal players in there. Especially with chemistry, you could really add some interesting elements with it. Like maybe the boosts don't count if you don't have enough chemistry, you don't have enough players from this team or whatever that is. I think that you could really change up how the boosts work, you know, the individual card boosts, that would really allow it to have some differentiation in teams. Because I know that's a concern from a lot of people. Well, there's no differentiation in teams, then I can't use the team that I want to use. But I think with head-to-head, and head-to-head not really being, you know, dependent on your overall as much, you could end up doing it. Plus, at this point, you do get a lot of the same players coming up. Everybody's using Van Basten because they can cross the ball into him and head it every single time. So you're not getting that huge differentiation. The defense all looks the same as well because there's better defenders that you're going to have out of it. So I think that I know a concern of people is that it's not going to have that differentiation piece, but I really feel that you could add such long-term engagement across all the promos. So when it comes to a promo now, we're like, yo, I really want to get that new player, versus now it's kind of like, okay, well, I just want to get the prime icon because that's a card that's never been in the game before, but they get a 100 overall Kashmero card, and I'm like, well, I don't really care about that because I already have, you know, a 100 overall, you know, card for Busquets that I've leveled up that's basically the same card. I have a prime icon that's there. I don't care about that card, those kind of things. So that's the one thing I want to see. I'd also love to see sets make a a return. And if you haven't played the early seasons of FIFA Mobile, you can also go check out Madden Mobile. They have sets and they do a wonderful job of sets. But basically, you put in different cards, you can buy them on the auctions. And the reason why I really like this is it adds an element of variety to the promos. So there's multiple ways that you can actually accomplish a promo. So if we look at Team Hero from Season 1, I was still playing Team Hero all the way throughout it because I was able to go pick up, crests in the market. And maybe I would play the live event and I'd get a bunch of crests, sell them, make some coins in the market, not do anything with them. Or maybe I would go, I'd take those, I'd put them into a set, have a chance to get a Team Hero player. Because I kind of like that element too, where you play through a couple live events a few times, all of a sudden you get yourself a Team Hero player, you're like super engaged and super excited to play that promo, to continue playing on that promo. So that's the other thing I was thinking you could have too. If you wanted to keep it the same style, maybe what you could have is in Team Heroes, we have this system where you play along all the way to get Douglas Costa. Maybe you can put in 20 random assorted crests that you would have, and you have a chance to get any Team Hero player versus, only going along this. You could go along that, path and take the long path, or maybe you could get lucky and you could pull Douglas Costa out of, a pack, kind of similar to how we had in the Treasure Hunt promo. The other thing I would really love to see is a change sort of how prime icons work. I know everybody really wants to get a prime icon, but this season it's become very about, okay, it's either going to be a crazy grind or it's going to be you have to spend a lot of money on it. What I would feel like would be really cool is kind of like we had Blue Star Hazard in Season 1. So if you remember in Season 1 we had Blue Star Hazard, you started with I think it was 80 overall, whatever, and you leveled them up all the way up to 100 overall. So if you think about it, we could have, maybe everybody could pick up and get an icon early in the season, and you could kind of get that icon you really want. So I get Dennis Bergkamp, and I'd want to make him to a prime icon. So throughout the season, new promos would come along, and maybe I could earn different level up tokens that would allow me to level him to, in the different stages of his career or something. And then all of a sudden at the end, I could level him up to a prime icon version of himself. I just feel like that kind of idea of leveling up players, instead of just leveling them up with training experience, maybe level them up with events. So maybe Scream Team comes along and I want to upgrade my Aubameyang card, and so when Scream Team comes in, I want to put in like a token from Scream Team, and that makes Aubameyang Scream Team player. Now that might be a little bit crazy hard for coding. I don't know enough about coding to know that, but like those kind of things I feel like would be a cool element to have some differentiation in the way that we train players and the way that we can upgrade the players that we want. So maybe the promos itself is not about upgrading players, but it's about like getting new additional features to the players. Like maybe you add new skills, maybe you add new card arts or whatever to the players that we have on there. So those are some of the big things that I want to see is that sort of that added element of that depth and that engagement of sets, head-to-head, draft mode. Would love to see that, and just some competitive play that we would have. So I feel like those are some of my like initial really, oh man, I would love to see these things in FIFA. Obviously I'd love to see less bugs in head-to-head. I would love to see some of these things, but I know that this is the first season of head-to-head. We're gonna get those things. I'm hoping those things are things that are gonna work themselves out in the long run. It was obviously maybe a little bit of a less impact on corners and headers and those kind of things, but the big sort of modes I'd love to see. Want to see some head-to-head, like competitive play, player friends, so that we can make our own competitive play. Draft mode would be unreal to see, and then just some maybe kind of a throwback more to how Season 1 events were run, how Season 1 players were run. But those are my thoughts. Those are the things that I would love to see. What do you want to see in FIFA Mobile 20? What are you most excited for? What kind of features do you want to see? What kind of packs? I would also love, and I'm going to end off with this because it's the one thing I've been saying for a long time, is if we had packs like we had in Season 1 where any player can get pulled in any packs. You're opening up a pro pack. You're opening up the 7,500 coin pack. Yeah, that actually is what you would say. And you pull out, like an icon player. You pull out a prime icon player. Like we were able to pull out flashback players in the start. I just felt like that was really cool because you just be like, I'm kind of bored. I'm just gonna open up a pack. You open up a pack. Like, what? I just packed like the best player in the game out of a 7.5 coin pack. And maybe it's not gonna happen very often, but you were able to have. We had man of the match in the packs. We had impact players in the packs. We had team heroes in the packs. There's so many different ways you could get players in the packs, tokens in the packs for different promos. And so I would love to see those packs from Season 1 where you can just kind of pack random things that go towards the event out of just regular packs, out of regular things you're playing the game, so that playing the game is not just playing promos individually. Playing the rest of the game can help you. So maybe you were doing a 7.5k coin pack while the treasure hunt was on, and you pull a relic out of it. So another way to pull a relic rather than just playing through the event. So that differentiation of being able to do it anywhere in the game, I feel like would be awesome to see as well. But anyways, thank you for checking this out. thank you for stopping by. It is a pleasure to be back and in the studio again. Stopde.